Hey guys, I wanted to do a quick video highlighting the differences between an RTX 3080 Ti at different TGP levels. I have a 155 watt TGP, and I also have a 175 watt TGP. And I think 130 and up is the sweet spot. I couldn't find any good laptop out there that fits my needs at maybe that end between like 150 and 120. The Razer Blade 15 is only 90 watts, and I don't think that's gonna get us to where we need to in terms of the 3080 Ti. Same thing with the Arrow. I think that's 105 watts. Same thing. I think if you're considering something that you know only has a TGP of 115 watts and below, maybe just consider the 3070 Ti. You're not going to get much of a big difference here. But the two best laptops I'm able to compare right now are the GE66 and the GE76. Not because they're the best laptops, but because they're made by the same manufacturer and they're probably built very, very similarly. So what I really wanted to do is just kind of see how much you're losing by going with a 150 watt part versus a 175 watt part. And before I did, the main reason why I wanted to do this video is because it reminds me of me back about 2 years ago when all I wanted was the most powerful laptop possible, and that led me to the Area 51M by Alienware. But I just never used it. It just sat in the corner, and it just became a desktop essentially, or a console that I plugged into my TV because it was so massive, it was so heavy, it required 2 power bricks. So I didn't get the most out of my purchase with that machine. And going back in time, I would have been much better served with slightly less performance, but something that I'd be able to use more. So with that being said, how much are you losing this year when it comes to a 3080 Ti versus a 3080 Ti, but in 2 different TGPs? So let's just get right into some of the numbers I've been testing. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. We're going to quickly go over the 1080p results, but it is higher, yeah, but I think that's more related to the CPU. The GE66 has an i7 versus the GE76 has an i9. So we're getting 136 FPS and 1080p on the GE66 versus 143 on the GE76. But you see the gap closes a little bit when we get to 1440p, I should say. On the GE66, I'm getting 111 FPS versus 116 FPS on the GE76 with a 175 watt part. Again, so I mean that's a matter of like 4 or 5 frames. You see if you feel you're going to get more use out of a smaller machine like the GE66 or the SCAR 15 versus the SCAR 17 or the GE76, or whichever laptop you're kind of comparing, once the TGP is over like 130, it's up to you if those little bit amount of frames matter to you. I mean, at 4K, you're seeing a bit of a larger difference between 60 frames and 64. But still, I mean, and I went crazy. I've retested these numbers again and again and again and again, hoping to find something big, but I just haven't really been able to. I mean, the looking at these differences, they might be big enough for you to warrant the larger device for the higher TGP, but I don't know. I guess to each their own. And now let's look at Guardians of the Galaxy. At 1080p, I got 125 FPS on the GE76 and 120 FPS on the GE66. At 1440p, I got 99 versus 93. Somewhat of a difference. Again, I don't like it. You're not at the stage where you're gonna be telling yourself, "Oh man, if I would have gotten the 175 watt TGP laptop or the 165 watt laptop versus the 130 or 150, I would have been able to play this game, but now I can't." We're not seeing those kind of differences here. At 4K, it's 57 versus 54. So next is Cyberpunk. Again, not too different. And this is the game that I've tested again and again and again, and I've tried to follow along the same path and make it as identical as I possibly can. And Another time I just drove around for maybe 15 minutes until the averages stopped, I should say, until the averages stopped spiking around and I got like a consistent score. So again, I'm not gonna do this for every single game or every single benchmark video, but I really wanted to try to find some reason to go with the higher TGP model. 1080p 68 versus 70, 1440p GE66 47 versus GE76 50. At 4K 25 versus 27.7. That's a yeah. Like I said, it's just really up to you if it's really worth it. So now let's look at Red Dead Redemption. 95 FPS on the GE76, 93 on the GE66, 78 on 1440p versus 75. 4K with DLSS quality, 60.67 versus 59.1. Same thing. I mean, I could have tested more games, but after a certain point, I was like, you know what, man, boring videos I'm ever gonna make. But I kind of want to highlight that, you know, don't only focus on the TGP. I see that all the time on Reddit, on YouTube. That's all people are focused on. Especially this, I think maybe last year it mattered a bit more, but this year, from what I'm seeing, the 3080 Ti seems to be running a lot more efficient than last year's 3080. Watch Dogs now. I'm literally about to fall asleep. There's not much of a difference here. 73 versus 72, 59 versus 56, 36 versus 35. You could look at the 1% lows. There's nothing to write home about. They're identical. Alright guys, I think that's going to do it for this one. I hope you agree with me. Let me know in the comments what you think, and please give me a like and subscribe. I got tons more content coming up. I just mentioned all the different laptops I have and the ones that I have coming in, so I really hope you guys get subscribed, and let me know what you think. Is the TGP and the number of FPS you're getting in games the most important part of your buying decision? Let me know. Thanks, bye.